Hello again, and welcome to iPulse Live. I am Romanshika Singh.
And I'm Allison Wallace. We begin our broadcast with news that former President Donald Trump has been indicted for his role in paying hush money to a porn star on the eve of the 2016 election. This marks the first time in American history a former president has faced criminal trial.
There is little more than the announcement of the indictment at this point. Details will come soon on Tuesday, so stay tuned.
In the meantime, let's report on something more local and more current. It's spring break in South Florida. For the last 3 weeks, families and students have hit the road for South Florida. Here's Eleanor Bruce.
Welcome to West Palm Beach, Florida, a city known for its vibrancy and population growth, in close proximity to Mar-a-Lago, where former President Donald Trump lives. This city, like so many others, is about to be invaded by 1.5 million college students and lots of families. Spring break is a vacation period that falls in March or April, but typically peaks during the last 2 weeks of March. Spring break started during the 1930s in the US, but it is now common in many other countries. It offers college students a break from classes and studies at the midway point of the spring term. However, many students use it as a chance to travel, party, drink, and hang out with friends. The stereotypical spring break is spent on the beach, so it is no wonder that Florida is a popular destination for thousands of college students during this time. It is estimated that 57,000 students will be on holiday in the Sunshine State this year. This time of year is a huge economic booster. However, the hospitality industry might struggle to cater for the increase in demand due to labor shortages. Hotels, restaurants, bars, clubs, and other tourist attractions in Florida are setting booking records during spring break. What is it about Florida that makes it so attractive to spring breakers? Why do you think Florida is such a popular place for spring break?
The weather definitely. Beautiful weather all time of year. Definitely.
Do you think this is like a family destination or
Yes.
more for like...
Both of them. I think the city, whole South Florida, is so big. You got family, you got young people, you got everything. So definitely.
I lived here for like almost 14 years. Honestly, the attraction is pretty much, I mean, if you're young or older, depending on like what you're doing, but obviously spring break is attractive for younger crowds, like college students and high schoolers, mostly college students. I would say more like the bars, clubs, mostly, I would say, because young people, I mean, we were all 20 at one point, we all like to just have a good time.
And what do you think of places like bumping up prices just for spring break?
That I did notice, which is kind of silly because of the fact that, one, you have a lot of residents that live around here, and I don't think residents should be able to pay that amount, because I know a couple of residents that come to my job who are loyal customers and they live around here and they have to pay for their parking, which is kind of silly. But in a general aspect, I feel like the pricing is insane. I mean, I lived here for 14 years. Downtown City Place, you would pay only $3 an hour. Now it's almost like $10 an hour.
Obvious why Florida is so popular. It has everything all within close proximity, from sandy beaches and good food to tourist attractions and wild nightlife. Spring break in Florida is becoming a tradition for many. I'm Eleanor Bruce for iPulse.
At Lynn University, we at iPulse Live are not the only outlet for news. There is the award-winning iPulse newspaper. Gretchen Lemke is the editor-in-chief. She shares with reporter Chelsea Moran how a usual workday looks.
Every meeting starts at 9:30 a.m. sharp. So everyone has to be punctual and everyone has to be there on time, or else they're going to miss announcements made by the supervisor at the beginning of the meeting, and that is Professor Tamaya Varga. Love her. And basically, it starts off with the supervisor just explaining everything that has been going on each week and explaining things that will be done for the paper said week. And then the supervisor hands it over to the editor-in-chief. And the editor-in-chief basically asks everyone what their pitches are for the week, which is essentially 3 ideas for an article that they have for that week. And then, well, personally, I like to ask everyone which ones they think are better or which ones would fit best for that week, because then I make everyone feel included as it is, because I feel like print should be a community of people rather than just me bossing everyone around.
Gretchen explains that the iPulse was limited due to COVID-19. She's committed and determined to build upon the prior success pre-COVID-19 to actively engage students to read the paper. She shares her strides for excellence and self-development.
Something that definitely motivates me is the drive to do the best that I can, and the idea that I can bring so much more to the table than I think I can. I just really want to put my best work out there, and I want to put everyone's best work out there, and that also motivates me, being able to read everyone's pieces, being able to see the talent within the newsroom. I just really enjoy seeing how everyone's writing improves and how everyone manages to improve as people and improve their writing and improve their ideas within the newsroom that they are bringing to the paper.
The writers submit their rough drafts every Thursday, and then it goes on to the managing editor to edit the writer's work, then goes to the assistant editor, then copy editor, then goes to Gretchen, then goes to Professor Varga, who does the final edits before it goes to publishing. With all their hard work that is put into the papers, there are challenges that they face. Gretchen shares one of those challenges.
The hardest challenge is to be able to make everyone feel included. And I'm not saying that because we don't try our best to make every staff writer and every person involved feel included, but rather it's because not everyone gets the opportunity to be published within an issue. And, we always encourage everyone to do better. We always encourage everyone to reach their best potential when it comes to a piece that they write. But unfortunately, because of the format of the paper, not every article that is written within the newsroom gets to be published in one issue every week. Sometimes we save some articles for the week after or the week after that. So it's all about patience. Even my articles sometimes have to be pushed back a little bit. So it's pretty much the same for everyone.
She enjoys collaborating with her diligent team, creating the finished product. They distribute the published papers around the Lynn University campus, handing them out to students to read. My name is Chelsea Moran with iPulse.
The popular Chinese app TikTok continues to be in the news. This past week, the TikTok CEO was grilled by U.S. lawmakers, battering him with questions about potential Chinese influence over the platform. Reporter Anelia Wilson tells us more.
The fate of TikTok in America is at risk once again. Less than 3 years after the Trump administration threatened to ban TikTok, the Biden administration has plans to do the same. Federal officials demand that Chinese owners sell their stakes in the app or it will be banned. The main concern raised by officials is that TikTok has the potential to be a major national security threat. The Chinese owners have refused to sell their shares, hence the potential ban. On March 23, TikTok CEO Shou Chu attended a congressional hearing to assure that TikTok is safe and has a positive impact in the United States.
It's a place where people can be creative and curious, and where close to 5 million American businesses, mostly small businesses, go to find new customers and to fuel their growth.
But several lawmakers at the hearing stood firm in their belief that TikTok is a threat.
It's been said it's like allowing the Soviet Union the power to produce Saturday morning cartoons during the Cold War, but much more powerful and much more dangerous.
Chu faced tough questions from both Republicans and Democrats.
Welcome to the most bipartisan committee in Congress.
The biggest concern was over TikTok's ties to China.
TikTok is a weapon by the Chinese Communist Party to spy on you, manipulate what you see, and exploit for future generations.
Congresswoman, I have seen no evidence that the Chinese government has access to that data. They have never asked us. We have not provided.
I find that actually preposterous.
TikTok users from across the nation tuned in or attended the hearing. The app has been very beneficial for consumers, businesses, and especially content creators in the United States, and many fear their future without it. Lynn student and content creator Adriana Vezaga shares her opinion on the issue.
I don't think the government and the Senate really have an idea of the impact that banning TikTok could have in the US society. As a content creator, I feel like it's a way to limit our freedom of speech. Imagine that half of this nation is on TikTok. Around 150 million people are users and constantly engaging with content. So it's just a way to limit us creators to share a voice and people also to have information. So hopefully they don't ban it, but they have to consider that things are going to drastically change on how freedom is seen in the US.
People continue to rally for TikTok to remain in the United States, but its fate is still uncertain. I'm Anelia Wilson for iPulse News.
We also asked reporter Onelia Wilson to report on the controversial Willow oil drilling project. That Alaska project has been involved in intense lobbying and objections. Environmental advocates charge drilling would undermine U.S. efforts to phase out fossil fuels. Recently, the Biden administration gave the project the green light, but environmental groups have not given up.
On TikTok and Instagram, people have called for President Biden to stop a controversial Alaska oil drilling project known as the Willow Project, and their calls have gone viral. The videos have ranked up tens of millions of views and spurred more than 1 million letters to the White House and more than 3 million signatures to a Change.org petition. 20-year-old Elise Joshi, a senior at the University of California, Berkeley, is one of the online activists.
Will not just impact this country, it'll impact the world. With the amount of carbon emissions that it will emit, we will see an increase in frequency and intensity of natural disasters.
ConocoPhillips' Willow Project would be located in northwest Alaska on the National Petroleum Reserve, federal land roughly the size of Indiana. The project would tap as much as 600 million barrels of oil, but it would take years for it to reach the market. It's messy politics for President Biden, pitting his climate promises against the desire to produce energy at home and lower gas prices. The project would release as much planet-warming carbon emissions per year as adding 2 million gas-powered cars to the road annually, according to a government estimate. Sikonik Maupin's family lives near the proposed site, and she recently traveled to Washington to protest outside the White House against the Willow Project.
Health in an economic hostage situation, we either choose our health, our children's health, our ways of life, or being able to have plumbing and infrastructure and running water.
Nagru Kasharik's family has also lived in the region for generations, and he supports the project. His nonprofit represents 24 native communities, corporations, and local governments who say the project will be an economic boon and help the United States wean off of foreign oil.
The economics that a project like this would bring into the region, mainly to the North Slope Borough in the form of taxes to help provide and maintain first world condition.
The Biden administration has approved the project. However, activists continue to fight to protect the planet against climate change. I'm Anelia Wilson for iPulse News.
In financial news, just what led to the collapse of Silicon Valley and signature banks. Federal financial regulators were on Capitol Hill recently testifying before the Senate and House committees. The committee goal is to shore up the banking sector and prevent this happening again in the future. U.S. financial regulators testifying before the Senate Banking Committee as lawmakers in both chambers of Congress launched formal investigations into what caused the second and third largest bank collapses in U.S. history earlier this month.
The quick collapses of Silicon Valley Bank and Signature Bank were no ordinary failures.
Michael Barr, a Federal Reserve official, says that the meltdown at SVB started at the top.
This is a textbook case of bank mismanagement.
Barr testified that SVB had been on Fed's radar since 2021 when it was cited for interest rate and liquidity risks.
They didn't take the action necessary. They were quite vulnerable to risk, to shocks, and they didn't take the actions necessary.
The bank, he says, collapsed after depositors tried to withdraw $100 billion in a single day, driven by social media and mobile banking.
The bank did not have enough collateral to meet that, and therefore they were not able to actually meet their obligations to pay their depositors over the course of that day, and they were shut down.
While the federal government stepped in to guarantee deposits at the two failed banks, some lawmakers demanding regulators take further action to prevent a similar banking crisis in the future.
If it's the regulator's fault, it better be fixed. If it's the regulation fault, it better be fixed.
I'm Romanshika Singh for iPulse News.
In medical news, Narcan, the life-saving drug that can rapidly reverse the effects of opioid overdose, has now been approved for over-the-counter use. The FDA approval means that consumers can now buy the nasal spray in convenience stores, gas stations, as well as online without a doctor's approval. Jonah Cole reports.
Katrina Bowen says that Narcan has saved her life twice.
I feel that if it wasn't around, I would not be here.
Bowen, who is now 5 years clean, says that everyone should carry Narcan.
They had to use Narcan the last time on me twice. I overdosed not just on the heroin, but the fentanyl part as well.
According to the FDA, over-the-counter Narcan can now be sold in big box chains, vending machines, supermarkets, and gas stations as soon as this summer. Mike Hurst lost his son to a heroin overdose and is now helping others get clean through his program, Andy's Place.
I lost my battle with my son, but you know, if there's something I can do to make sure nobody else has to go through that same process that our family went through, you know, I'm all for that.
Hurst says to look for the signs of a drug overdose.
Your breathing starts to slow down, your heart starts to slow down, your respiratory system just about shuts down. This is an opiate blocker, so as soon as you inject that, it reverses that process, and somebody will come right back to life again.
And that is why Katrina wants to make sure it is as accessible as possible to save a life.
I literally have it everywhere. It's in our car, it's in our apartment, it's up at the security desk. Sometimes I have it in my purse. It is truly a lifesaver.
For iPulse, I'm Jonah Cole.
Grindr, the popular LGBTQ app, has come up with a novel idea to deal with the worldwide HIV epidemic, giving out free tests for those who buy their app. Ethan Linder reports.
Grindr, the popular LGBTQ app, is providing HIV tests for people. So many people all over the world have HIV and don't know, but this popular app wants to change that and help people be more aware of having HIV. Thousands of people use it every day, and they are given free HIV tests with the purchase of the app. Grindr wants to make HIV testing more available to everyone, like COVID testing. They want to be able to provide everyone with free HIV tests whenever they need it, and eventually provide it all over the world. This is Ethan Linder reporting live with iPulse.
We cannot do a broadcast without mentioning the mass shooting in Nashville this week, which killed 3 school children. Just another heartbreaking series of school shootings around the country. But are homes any safer? Statistics indicate they are not. Every day there is another case of parental abuse in this country. In Philadelphia, a week ago, a neighbor found 2 young children wandering on a local street. He called police, who picked up the girls and went into the house. Ari Davis reports on what they found.
Sometimes you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Philadelphia police were called to look into a home in the 2400 block of Glenview Street in Mayfair. This was before 1 p.m. Thursday after a neighbor found 2 young girls outside screaming.
They saw 2 girls, ages 4 and 5, that were partially dressed outside in the rain. The officers were able to pick them up and gain entry inside of the property, and once they got in there, they came upon a 6-year-old boy that was locked inside of a dog cage.
Police say the children's mother would often lock the little boy inside the dog cage when she left the home. The children's grandmother, who's in a wheelchair, and uncle, who's disabled, were also home when police arrived. 2 other kids live here, but were at school.
It just boggles my mind that they put their kids in cages.
Hector Perez saw the little girls outside in the alley and immediately called 911.
Pampers on, they have no shirts, they have no pants, they have no shoes. They're screaming, it's raining, it's cold.
He's one of several neighbors who say they've seen DHS officials in this home several times.
Over the past couple of years, they've been here, I'll say 3, 4, 5 times.
Perez says while he's always tried to look out for the kids, he had no idea how bad it was.
I knew something was going on, but you tell me that you was putting kids in a cage? Hell no. Hell no. I could never imagine.
This is R.A. Davis, signing off.
In sports, the women's lacrosse team has gone nearly undefeated in their season and are currently on a 6-game winning streak. The season has earned them the title as one of the top-ranked teams in the nation. Clifton Haskin reports.
On March 15th, the Lynn University women's lacrosse team faced off against the New Haven Chargers. The Fighting Knights lacrosse team has been consistently one of the best spring teams this year. They are ranked 14th in the nation while only losing a single game this season and sit in second place with a record of 9-1. The Fighting Knights in white were neck and neck with the Chargers in the first and second half. Lynn was on the board early, but New Haven came right back. The Knights consistently found ways to score, but the Chargers always had a response. The second half ended with a tied score of 4-4. The Fighting Knights exploded offensively in the third and fourth quarter. Lynn scored 4 goals in the third quarter while consistently playing excellent defense. The Knights' offense continued in the fourth quarter, but lacked defensively. The Fighting Knights ended on top with a score of 12-9.
We've been working a lot on the chemistry of our team, so we've just been building on putting a bunch of different groups of people out there, and I think that whatever group we had out there, we were working really well together and picking up the pieces so that we can move into these next couple games pretty strong.
I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse.
In other sports news, soccer is a sport played all around the world and loved by billions of people. Recently, the USA blind soccer team had their first match against Canada. We go to Clifton Haskin for more.
Coming out the gate, I cannot imagine getting a ball.
It was the first day for the USA men's blind soccer team against Canada. The team consists of 8 athletes who have visual impairments and 2 goalkeepers. Avaramora Ariano started playing soccer when he was 5, just 5 years after losing his eyesight.
All my family and friends always had the time to play with me, soccer is my love, my first love.
His love for the game of soccer showed as he scored Team USA's very first goal.
I made history. I scored the first goal for the US, and it was a victory.
Blind soccer has been part of the Paralympic Games since 2004, but the U.S. has never competed. 2028 will be the first time for the U.S. to compete in this sport. I'm Clifton Haskin for iPulse.
In entertainment news, there's a new John Wick movie out. John Wick Chapter 4 is the culmination of the series and is getting a Rotten Tomatoes 88% rating. The film has been compared to James Bond, with its globe-trotting and shootings. Elisa Keating reports.
Saying goodbyes. Saying hello.
Keanu Reeves is back as John Wick in John Wick Chapter 4. The action-packed movie took to the screen on March 24th.
We have a visionary director in Chad Stahelski and very inventive. And I think the cast in this film is spectacular. We have so many new characters. We're opening up the world. I think the action is inventive.
If everybody gets a little better, I think that's why the movies show it, because I think I have a group of people that actually want to keep getting better and exploring their careers. And if you get the right people together, at least that's my theory, the movies get a little better.
The movie has been highly anticipated by fans, making them want to know what's next for John Wick.
Chad called me. I created a role for you, the role of long old friend of John Wick. Oh my goodness, that's perfect for me.
The sense of responsibility that comes with joining a franchise that's so beloved, coming to the 4th installment, I had to make sure I was on my A game.
This is estimated to make between $68 and $70 million in North America alone for its opening weekend.
When you consider 9 months it took to shoot this movie, that's a long time. And his judo's gotten really, really, it's next level judo in this one.
What will John Wick do next? I'm Elisa Keating for iPulse.
And peace is in death.
Tonight, we repeat a story from 2 weeks ago. The Lynn fashion show was so well received that we decided to rerun our story on it. My colleague, Allison Wallace, was there.
Today I am at LFS, Lynn Fashion Showcase. Lynn University has been hosting fashion shows for over the past 20 years and they have been very successful. At the event, I interviewed designers, models, and Lynn faculty about what their roles are and how they contributed to the event.
My favorite part about the event is the collaboration. We've got students from the College of Business, College of Communication and Design, hospitality program, fashion program, all working together. Our production staff is much from upstairs, Cesar Santelo's group.
Each show is different, but I think what we try to bring to Lynn University is to always make it bigger and better every year. One of the things that Dr. Katrina Carter Tellison really wanted was us to reach out to the community. And when I mean community, the South Florida community.
I think it was just the collaboration of all the students. I think it was all of them working together collectively for a common goal. And I think when students come together, when they put their best into it, I think we create magic together.
So I reached out to a very close friend and colleague of mine, Marcus Ortega, who works at Miami-Dade College. When I asked him about what he thought the idea was of maybe bringing in Miami-Dade College as a partner, he was ecstatic.
When Lynn reached out to you, what was your reaction?
Well, I was very excited. First of all, I've heard of Lynn and all the different things that have happened here. I looked into the program. I talked to Mr. Santalo about the fashion merchandising program here. And I thought it was a great opportunity to have our design students come and just attend.
Actually, I think it's the collaboration with Miami-Dade. I think bringing those designers in, I think it helped infuse us. I think it helped create energy. And I think it helped to build a synergy between our students and theirs.
I talked to designers from all varieties about how they express their individual creativity for this year's show.
It's complicated. You gotta know a lot of patterns. You gotta know what you're trying to do. You gotta know who you're trying to target, the audience you're trying to target.
Fashion is not like math. There's no right and wrong answer. It's basically what the professor prefers.
Were your expectations met tonight with the models representing your creativity?
Of course. I think Kiara opening up the show was amazing. My expectations were blown away. I think the show was amazing. They all killed it, even though they're all student models.
This was a very special show because of all the breathtaking designs that were shown off by our talented models. It is currently pre-show. What is one word to describe how are you feeling right now?
I'll say excitement and nervousness. I'm very nervous. It's my first show, but we're excited.
I'm looking forward to actually modeling. I was in the class last year and I was a stylist, so having the opportunity to walk on the runway is really exciting.
I'm actually really excited, to be honest. I can't wait. I'm a little jittery, but good nerves, you know what I mean? Because I'm modeling in the show and I'm really excited.
What does fashion mean to you?
Fashion means a lot to me, creativity, and also making you feel good about yourself.
The models did a fantastic job expressing the theme for this year's event, Evolution of Expression.
I feel that each designer was able to capture the evolution, not only of fashion, but self-expression when it comes to men and women's fashions.
This year's fashion show could have not been possible without our backstage crew, who manage lights, camera, and the action.
One of the major parts of this fashion show is that it has been really innovative. It has really like this kind of creative side of things. You know, last year was like kind of like the first time we did it in this floor in the library, so it was kind of like I feel like a test, you know. And we went kind of like old-fashioned, right? But this year we went all out. You know, it's about the evolution of expressions.
Among those that attended the show, there were many special guests within the audience. I spoke to Christine Lynn about how she felt to be at the event.
Well, I'm very proud to be here tonight because the library carries the Lynn family name, and we are so pleased to know that there's so many wonderful young people that benefit from this wonderful facility, and not only the facility, but fantastic school.
And what are you most looking forward to tonight?
I'm looking forward to see the fashions and see what's up, because I'm an old woman and the younger generation has a little different look, and sometimes I can't wear it because it's either too low or belly button showing or something else. But I'm looking forward to see what creative designs that the students have performed in creating these creations tonight.
Overall, the fashion show was a huge success. All the models looked perfect in their unique designs made by our own creative designers, as well as our special guests from Miami-Dade College. See you on the runway next year. Reporting for iPulse News, this has been Allison Wallace. The fashion show will be released on the iPulse YouTube channel next Friday, April 7th at noon. And who can forget that President's Day event designed for Lynn students to de-stress while taking the day off? Chelsea Moran reports.
Here at Lynn University on President's Day in Christine's Park, there was an event to help you distress. This event was called Smash the Stress. This event was an opportunity to let students write down their feelings or maybe something that has been stressing them out on a plate. And then they throw that plate into a mobile rage room. A transfer student named Tate shared her experience on this event.
I think that it was very well planned and that it is fantastic. I would absolutely recommend it, and I think everybody should enjoy it.
After you throw your plate, they had some delicious pizza to finish off with. All you had to do was sign a waiver, put on a mask so they can protect your eyes, and then smash the plate as hard as you want. This event on campus was a great way for students to have the opportunity to express themselves and just let it out as it was a day off from classes. Students at the event felt like they got to decompress and feel like they really did get to release some stress.
Absolutely, I think so. It was a great stress reliever, and it was amazing overall.
This was just one of the many events Lynn does that is fun and enjoyable for them. This is Chelsea Moran with iPulse.
And that's iPulse Live. I'm Allison Wallace. If you would like to join us in producing iPulse Live, sign up now for COM 399 next fall.
And I am Romanshika Singh. And remember, if you have a story you would like us to cover, call us at 561-237-7208. Have a good week.